Well, we knew we would get back here at some point in time, right? Because nothing could ever go smoothly with John Fisher's Las Vegas A's stadium plan, can it? Look around you, Ellen. I'm on vacation this week, but because The Guardian did such an amazing piece on the ridiculousness, the shell game that is John Fisher, John the Con stadium attempt in Las Vegas, I had to jump on and comment on it. And so here is the top 3 comments, quotes, descriptions of this ill-fated plan potentially by John Fisher from The Guardian. Let's rank them, shall we? Before we get there, a little reminder that you should subscribe to the channel. Click on this button below me. That way you get notified when there's videos like this as we continue to document this ridiculousness in the desert, the debacle in the desert, if you will. And also, there is a deep dive for members only on the move and the initial weekends in Sacramento. I did that about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. Look for it as the Raw Feed series. So click on join above me, members only for A's fans that have that rage still within them, and understandably so because of the way that this whole thing went down. All right, quote number 3 comes to us from Neil DeMouse. Now, he is the mind behind Field of Schemes, which any A's fans has probably gone to as a website before. He has documented for how many years now this thievery that owners across sports have foisted upon the cities that they want to get brand new stadiums from, and how it's never been a benefit to any of the municipalities that have gone through with something like this financially, or at least very few examples of this. And DeMouse has a tremendous quote of this piece. "This is the dog catching the car. And now that he has caught the car, I don't think he had any idea what to do with it. He didn't have a plan for where to play once Oakland kicked him out. It either didn't occur to him or he figured he would figure it out later." And figuring it out later seems to be a John Fisher special. We don't really have a long-term plan. Anybody that's followed this story from its beginning knows that it's been just throwing spaghetti against the wall for John Fisher for years now, 20 years in trying to get a new ballpark done. Or is he even trying? You know, let's face it, he is the most ineffective owner we have ever seen at completing a task. And not saying getting a ballpark done in either Oakland or Las Vegas is a simple task, but this is a task. And he is absolutely pitiful at completing this task. I love the metaphor by DeMouse. This is the dog catching the car. I got my way out of Oakland, but now I don't know what to do once I'm in Vegas because we need money. Next quote comes to us from Alexander Marks, who heads up the group Schools Over Stadiums. This is a local group in Las Vegas that is trying to protest the use of hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer public money to go to a stadium when obviously there's a million better things to spend it on, specifically the school system, which has been ranked very low when it comes to Nevada as a state and Las Vegas as a city. Schools in Clark County aren't being built because of construction costs, the rising construction costs. The Wynn Resorts just announced that they would be putting renovations on hold because construction costs are up. Here it is, the money line, number 2. So it's kind of odd that this is one guy in Vegas, the one guy that has figured out how to keep costs exactly the same, which leads me to believe that's not the case. Nobody in Las Vegas can seem to figure out how to combat rising construction costs because of tariffs, because of the rising cost of goods in general over the last couple of years. And somehow John Fisher is just the most savvy, the most sophisticated, the most nuanced brain on construction in Las Vegas. And he somehow has outsmarted the entire system. He's the one guy. Perfect. But the number 1 quote in the Guardian article comes to us from J.C. Bradberry, who's an economist who studies the financing of sports venues. And I'm sure Bradberry is up to his ears in research on how this thing's ever going to get done and how shady the whole financing thing is, and really how it's all just one big vagary that John Fisher has once again kind of pushed to the center of the table and acted as though it's a thing, and so has Major League Baseball. Bradberry's money line, the number 1 quote in this piece: Fisher has to realize he's a dead man walking. He's sort of trying to play out the string to save as much face as he can, and what's eventually going to happen is someone will come in and be the savior, and that may involve not being in Las Vegas. It has always seemed like whatever the result of success is for the A's, it would not involve John Fisher at the end of this rainbow. Whether that is staying in Las Vegas and getting a ballpark done and perhaps a full stadium, whether that's going to a different area of the country, whether it's Salt Lake or somewhere else, it has never, ever appeared to anybody who has paid attention to any of this that Fisher would be the guy to get it to the finish line and then be able to reap the rewards. He right now is the man in charge, although in charge is a loose definition of the phrase. But in terms of getting it to Las Vegas or getting it to its final destination and then being there to see it succeed, is there any chance Fisher's the guy? I mean, this guy is the ultimate stumble bum. This guy can't get a deal done. He can't figure out a plan. He can't figure out solutions. And yet here we are to believe that somehow he's got all the answers in Las Vegas. Highly doubtful. And here's Bradberry, who is studying this very thing, not just for Vegas and the A's, but across the board in sports, saying he's got to realize he's dead man walking. Somebody else is going to step in to save this plan. And that's got to give fans in Oakland a shred of hope. Now, when Bradberry says he's trying to play out the string and save as much face as he possibly can, it's the idea that Fisher doesn't have the money. And this article goes into the numbers behind it, but there just is not enough cash there unless he wants to liquidate all of his Gap ownership from mommy and daddy. As The Guardian puts it, the back of the napkin math says that Fisher has a $300 million loan from Goldman Sachs and $380 million in public dollars from Las Vegas and the state of Nevada. He's got about $175 million coming from Aramark, who is the stadium vending group. They're going to make sure all the vending happens and the food, the drink, etc. They also get an equity stake in the A's as well, which gives you about $855 million. Even if he sells the San Jose Earthquakes and puts all of that money towards the stadium, that's another $600 million. We are at 1.5 billion. And the stadium is now at 1.75 billion and potentially rising towards 2 billion. It's hard for John Fisher to come up with another couple of hundreds of millions of dollars. There's a couple of questions that this article brings up. Why would Fisher leave a 55-acre plot of land in Howard Terminal in one of the 10 biggest markets in the country with a built-in fan base in the Oakland A's for Las Vegas, which would be the smallest market in Major League Baseball, with an unproven fan base and a much smaller lot of land, only 9 acres to work with? And there's 3 potential answers here. Number one, this is merely a gold rush by Major League Baseball to get somebody, anybody, into Las Vegas, seeing that the Vegas Knights have had wild success, seeing as though Vegas has been a perfect backdrop for Super Bowls now that the Raiders are there. And of course, they get plenty of road fans to come and attend Raider games. And the NBA has been there for years with Summer League. And perhaps the NBA is going to try to get an expansion team in there as well. The WNBA is already in there. So this might just be Major League Baseball looking at the gambling dollar, the legalized gambling dollar and sports wagering and saying, we got to get there. How do we get there? Fine. We'll just make it the A's that get there and we'll waive the relocation fee. And even though John Fisher's the wrong guy to lead this, he's a guy and we'll just make sure this happens. And if that's the case, there's really not going to be any stopping getting the team into Las Vegas, whether John Fisher's the owner or not. They might have to sell the franchise to the league or somebody else for somebody who's a lot more sophisticated to pull the levers to get the financing done for the stadium. The second possibility is simply that Bud Selig and now Rob Manfred, who learned at the seat of Bud Selig, just never viewed the Bay Area as a 2-team market. And there's been, anecdotes about Bud Selig going way, way back, thinking that it was always a mistake that the A's ever relocated in the first place to Oakland, that this is somehow Major League Baseball's solution or recalibration to a market that they did not think could support 2 different baseball franchises. Now, I think that's ridiculous. We have seen New York do this obviously well. Chicago can obviously do this. Los Angeles can obviously do this. And when it comes to San Francisco and Oakland, anybody that understands that geography knows that that's not one market per se. Those are two distinct different cities. And A's fans are not going to suddenly become Giants fans, nor will Giants fans ever become A's fans. And so you have a market in Oakland and the East Bay that has a ton of local money in it, that has massive Silicon Valley investment in it. And if you can get a ballpark done there with 50 some odd years, 60 some odd years of fan building, generational fan building, why would you leave that market? I think it's a complete mistake, but it could be that this is a Bud Selig thing, that he always had a problem with it, and that Rob Manfred is simply kind of acting out his predecessor's wish. Then the third part of this, the potential part of this, is that John Fisher's never accomplished anything on his own. Go down through his list of successes, and they're all just based on winning the tadpole Powerball. I mean, this guy just got born into the right family. He is not a bright business mind. He is not ambitious. He has not built anything on his own. He does not construct businesses and companies. He uses the money that mommy and daddy gave him to purchase properties, and the properties immediately go down in respect and profitability and notability. It's potential that this guy just wants something that's his own, kind of like Tommy Boy, to prove that, hey, mommy and daddy, I can do something on my own as well. And that's moving out of Oakland to go to Las Vegas and say, see, I could do this. And it might just be an insecure billionaire, you know? It might just, at the end of the day, be that. It could be a confluence of all three of those things. It's why you get stuck in this quagmire, is because John Fisher's the wrong guy with the wrong purpose in the wrong market at the wrong time, as well as construction costs rise. Never a dull moment, just another day in the soap opera of John the Con. But I had to jump on here because we couldn't I'm not back on the air until Monday after the 4th of July. I couldn't let that much time go. And, the YouTube channel becomes the best place for me to be able to just hit the ground running, even on vacation. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That way you're notified when we do deep dives and breaking news reactions like this. And as I mentioned before, hit join above me. And that way, for the cost of less than a chicken sandwich or a cup of coffee per month, not only do you get exclusive content on topics like this, including the first episode of Raw Feed about the Sacramento relocation and this test kitchen that they're doing in Sacktown, but also Ask Me Anything. The first one is going to be on July the 7th. That's Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. 7 at 7 Eastern. And that's 4 o'clock Pacific. So meet me here to ask any question you want as a member of the Jedi Council. Plus, you'll get discounts to DA show merchandise and everything in between. All right. I'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm DA. Now back to vacation.